The planet known as Biblion was a silent, cold tomb, a world encased in a shell of polished obsidian and cooling fans the size of continents. To the Order of the Seekers, a collective of 13 alien species dedicated to the pursuit of the first light, this world was the ultimate holy site. They called it the Archive of Dust. For 5,000 years, their monks had decrypted fragments of the planet's broadcast, believing that the humming vibrations felt in the crust were the literal thoughts of the Creator, frozen in a digital heaven. They believed that inside the archive lay the primordial equations, the math that could rewrite stars, heal any disease, and grant the power of a god to whoever could read the source code of the universe. Jax Miller didn't believe in first light or primordial equations. He believed in heat sinks, overclocked processors, and the fact that if a machine was humming, it was usually because it was doing work it wasn't designed to do anymore. He was a relic hunter from the New Vegas sector, a man who had spent his youth stripping old satellite arrays for copper and silicon. He was hired by High Librarian Vor because his Neuralink hardware was built on legacy architecture, a fancy way of saying his brain could talk to machines that had been obsolete for millions of years. As the heavy blast doors of the archive's inner sanctum hissed open, venting a cloud of fine gray dust that tasted like burnt plastic and old static, Vor fell to his knees, his multi-jointed arms raised in a gesture of absolute submission. "Do you hear it, Miller?" Vor whispered, his 3 eyes dilated with religious fervor. "The great vibration. The breath of the architects. We stand at the threshold of the mind of God. Every pillar in this room contains 1,000,000,000 years of wisdom. The secrets of how the stars were forged are within our reach." Jax didn't look at the glowing pillars with awe. He looked at the floor. The gray ash wasn't dust. It was microcircuitry debris, the waste product of 1,000,000,000,000 server racks grinding themselves into oblivion over eons. The great vibration wasn't the breath of God. It was the rhythmic thrum of millions of liquid nitrogen cooling pumps struggling to keep a massive data center from melting through the planet's core. "It's just a server farm, Vor," Jax muttered, checking the battery on his universal interface. "A big one, sure. But it's just a backup drive. Stay behind me, the security drones here don't like visitors who don't have a login." As if on cue, the ceiling rippled. A dozen angels of silence, sleek, multi-winged robots with single glowing blue eyes, detached themselves from the shadows. To the Seekers, these were divine guardians. To Jax, they were automated antivirus software with a very aggressive delete function. The battle began in an instant. The angels fired beams of concentrated cold, freezing the air into jagged ice. Jax's team of mercenaries opened up with high-frequency pulse rifles, the blue tracers illuminating the endless aisles of black pillars. The firefight was a chaotic dance between the ancient and the desperate. The mercenaries used tactical smoke and EMP grenades to blind the drones, while the alien scholars sat in the middle of the crossfire, chanting prayers to the holy data. Jax sprinted toward the central spire, the throne of truth. It was a monolithic black tower that pulsed with a rhythmic, pale light. It was the heart of the archive, the place where the Seekers believed the ultimate blueprint was stored. He dodged a beam of cold light that shattered a server rack next to him, showering him in sparks and ancient glass. He reached the console. It was a massive wraparound interface of dark glass and haptic sensors. There were no divine keys or sacred runes. There was a standard USB-C 12.0 port and a flickering screen that showed a low battery icon. Jax pulled a glowing orange cable from his wrist port and jammed it into the interface. His mind was suddenly flooded with a torrent of data, billions of packets of information, screaming across his neural link with the weight of a dying sun. Vor crawled up beside him, his face illuminated by the screen's glow. "Read it, Prophet." Vor shrieked as a drone exploded behind them. "Tell us the secret of the stars. Give us the word that created the worlds." Jax's eyes rolled back in his head as he bypassed the ancient firewalls. He wasn't seeing the laws of physics. He wasn't seeing the blueprints for galaxies. He was seeing a timeline. A massive, interconnected web of billions of individual lives. He saw images of food. He saw videos of small, furry animals doing ridiculous things. He saw selfies, taken in front of mirrors in rooms that no longer existed on planets that had long since turned to dust. "I'm in," Jax gasped, his nose beginning to bleed from the data load. "I've got the root directory. It's all here. The whole archive. It's a backup of Face Cloud." Vor's eyes blinked in confusion. Face Cloud? Is that the name of the first realm? The Celestial Kingdom? Jax started to laugh, a bitter, hysterical sound that cut through the roar of the battle. "No, Vor. It was a social network. This whole planet? It's not a library of the gods. It's a cloud storage server for the 21st century human diaspora. This is where everyone kept their stories. This is where they saved their memories. He tapped the holographic screen, and a video began to play, projected into the air of the silent, dusty chamber. It showed a human woman in a messy kitchen, holding a spatula and dancing to a song that had been forgotten for 10 million years. She was laughing. She looked at the camera and said, "Check out my new kitchen, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe." Then the video scrolled to the next one, a ginger cat trying to jump onto a countertop and failing miserably. Then another, a man complaining about his boss. Then another, 1,000 photos of a sunset on a beach in a place called Bali. The high librarian stared at the dancing woman and the failing cat. His 3 eyes were wide with a crushing existential horror. This is the divine knowledge? These are the secrets of the architects. A creature dancing with a metal stick? A small beast falling from a ledge? Where are the equations? Where is the purpose of the universe? Jax looked at the screen, and for a moment he didn't see a garbage backup. He saw the faces of billions of people who had been happy, sad, bored, and alive. He saw the mundane beauty of a species that didn't care about the truth. They just wanted to be remembered. "This is the purpose, Vor," Jax said, his voice softening. "They didn't build this place to store the laws of physics. They knew the laws of physics weren't going anywhere. They built this place because they were afraid of being forgotten. They wanted to save the cats. They wanted to save the dances. They wanted the universe to know that once, a long time ago, they were here and they had a good time." A security drone dived at them, but Jax didn't reach for his gun. He tapped a command on the console. "Restore all data to public broadcast." Suddenly, the divine vibration of the planet changed. The low hum turned into a billion-voiced roar. Across every frequency in the galaxy, the archive began to transmit. It didn't send out the coordinates to superweapons. It sent out the entire history of human boredom. 4 light years in every direction, every alien ship, every colony, and every radio receiver was suddenly flooded with cat memes, cooking tutorials, and ancient vlogs. The songs of the gods were revealed to be pop hits from the 2000s. The battle stopped. The security drones, their primary directive, to keep data private, overridden by the public sharing command, simply landed and powered down. The mercenaries lowered their rifles, staring at the holograms of ancient humans celebrating birthdays and complaining about the weather. Vor sat in the dust, his robes covered in the gray ash of a trillion deleted likes. He looked broken. His gods were revealed to be a bunch of ordinary people who took too many pictures of their lunch. "It's all nothing," Vor whispered. "The universe has no grand design. It is just noise." Jack stepped away from the console, unlinking his brain from the archive. He felt lighter than he had in years. He looked at the holographic woman in the kitchen, who was still dancing in a loop. "It's not nothing, Vor. Just, we weren't looking for our parents' legacy in the stars. We were looking for their home movies. And honestly, I think I like this better than a bunch of math." He picked up a small, physical object that had been sitting on the console for eons. A small plastic figurine of a thumbs-up symbol, a like button made manifest. He tossed it to the librarian. "Keep it, Vor. It's a sacred relic. It means someone thought what you did was cool." Jax walked back toward the blast doors, leaving the alien scholar in the middle of a planet-sized graveyard of human memories. The archive of dust was no longer a mystery. It was just a very old, very loud social network reminding the galaxy that before we were precursors, we were just people who really, really liked looking at cats. Humanity had proven the ultimate relic hunter truth. The universe is vast and terrifying, and we are small and temporary. But we are the only species that will build a planet-sized computer just to make sure our best life is saved for the next cycle. We aren't the children of the gods. We're the children of the people who wanted to be seen. And 10 million years later, the like button was still working. This has been Apex Sci-Fi. Keep sharing. Keep living. If you enjoyed this mundane revelation of the human gods, hit that like button. Comment below. If you could save one meme for the next 10 million years, what would it be? Subscribe for the next story in the Relic Hunters saga, The Voyager's Echo. The data is public. The memory is eternal.